Hi everyone, Pam here from Creative Homescaping. Today I have been tagged by Vel of Mike and Vel's Home, and this tag is called the snack tag, I believe, but if that's wrong I'll put a note up above as to what the actual name is. But it was originally started by a channel called Yacky Tacky, and I'm not familiar with her channel, but I did go and look at it, and my understanding is that she likes to chat and eat snacks at the same time. So for this tag, you're supposed to have a snack. It could be a childhood snack or a favorite snack of any sort, and then tell about a favorite childhood memory. So that's what I'm going to do. I am going to tell you actually two memories. One is Christmas related and the other is just an older childhood memory while I eat my snack. And I have a little friend here, and you'll find out why she's here in a few minutes. But the first thing I want to show you is my snack. My snack is some rolled up lox. I adore lox. And now, thanks to Costco, you can get lox all the time, and they're not nearly as expensive as they used to be. And my first story of childhood memory has to do with these lox. So I'm going to take a bite of lox, then have a little sip of coffee, and then I will tell you. So here you go. That is so creamy and buttery. For those of you who don't like fish, I'm sorry. I really love fish, and I especially love lox. And because it is so smooth and buttery, I am drinking a buttery caramel coffee. It's unsweetened coffee. You can actually find it at Target. But my first memory has to do with lox. So when I was about 12 years old, so like I said, older childhood, my mother decided one time when we were grocery shopping, she said, "Have you ever tasted these?" I'm like, no. There was this jar of pink fish. And I like fish, so she said, "You know what? We're going to have a little treat." And that jar was, maybe this big around, maybe about that tall. That little jar 40 plus years ago cost, I think, $5. So that shows you how expensive things were. But she actually got a baguette and some butter. And what she did, and this is how she ate it growing up. Her parents were from Finland, and this is what they did. They took a slice of the bread, they put butter on the bread, and then they put the lox on top of that. Similar idea to bagel, cream cheese, and lox, but this is the Finnish way of doing it. And the first bite I took, my first thought was, where has this been all my life? So, of course, I wanted to eat a lot more, but because it was so expensive, we were trying to ration it out. So I didn't eat too much more of it that day. We did extend it over a period of time. But now, like I said, thanks to Costco and also Trader Joe's, if you don't have a Costco near you but you happen to have a Trader Joe's, they tend to have lox a lot of time. So I'm going to have another bite of my lox because I just cannot resist it. That is so good. And the nice thing, sorry, had some stuck in my teeth. The nice thing about lox is it fits right in with the way of eating that I eat. If you've been watching my November wellness challenges, you know that I tend to eat what's called a ketogenic diet, which is no refined carbs, no starchy foods of any kind. So that leaves out rice, potatoes, carrots, those sorts of things, peas that tend to be very starchy vegetables. But you can have fish and you can have lox. So I get to have a treat and stay within the way of eating that works best for me. And now I'm going to have another sip of my drink. It's actually kind of chilly here today in California. We're expecting a rainstorm later, which we need, although we're hoping it's not too heavy because of the fires we've recently had. So we don't want it to be more than about ½ an inch an hour, because otherwise that could trigger some landslides. So it's a little chilly, that's why I'm drinking coffee. It's mid-morning, getting on towards 10:30 for me, and that's when I have my first little snack of the day. And now I want to introduce you to my friend. This is Sally, and I have had Sally since I was 4 years old, and she came to me from Santa Claus, and I wasn't even expecting Sally. So the year that I turned 4, they had all these commercials on TV. I even remember the commercials. It was snowy outside and a little girl looking out kind of a cabiny window, maybe it was just a house window, and then her face lights up and she sees this little baby in this pink snowsuit, and the baby's doll's name is Little Lost Baby. So that's what this doll was called, Little Lost Baby. And I remember waking up on Christmas morning and going out to see the Christmas tree, and sitting under the Christmas tree was Little Lost Baby. And I later named her Sally. And there's some special things about Little Lost Baby that I will show you in a second. But she and one other tiny doll that was actually my first doll, I named her Aga. That was my name for her when I wasn't even a year old when I got her. I think she might have been my first Christmas present too, so maybe I was like 8 months old. Anyway, Little Lost Baby, or Sally, came only in a pink snowsuit. It looked exactly like this. But because I wanted to dress her up, we found out that newborn baby clothes actually fit her. So my mom used to keep baby clothes to use for dolls for dress up. So I used to dress Sally up over her snowsuit in baby clothes. And what she's wearing right now is actually a little baby onesie suit that my daughters wore when they were babies. So I decided to keep the tradition going, but I gave her some new clothes because I didn't have any of the old ones anymore, and the ones I'd had were falling apart for a long time. Well, because Sally is so old, and she was my second favorite doll to play with, her outfit got so worn out. The fur wore off after a while, and the feet, this is vinyl, and the feet cracked, yellowed, split, her suit faded, and it just had fallen apart. So one time when I was in the fabric store, I came across this pink fabric, and it was exactly the same fabric that was on her suit. And then I found some strips of fake fur, and I happened to already have some vinyl that was exactly like the vinyl that had been on her feet. So what I did, I took Sally apart. Now Sally, I'll show you in a minute. Sally had some special features when I got her. So you cannot remove her suit. Her legs are plastic. Inside here, they're molded plastic. And then her body is padded. But inside she has a spot for batteries because she used to do some things. So this little suit, as you can see, I had to kind of pin it up so it was the right size. But in her back area, there used to be a little handle here, and the handle broke off. And So I had to take her all the way apart. I had her in pieces. I had her arms disconnected. You can see they stitch on here, and you can see she's faded again. This is what the color looked like when she was brand new, and also when I remade her suit. But I took her suit all apart, and then I used the pattern pieces. Well, I used her suit as pattern to make the new suit for her. So I carefully undid all of the seams and recreated her suit, and then put it back on her. And you can see her head here has this plastic cap. You can see cracked there. But the reason for that is that Sally, when I first got her, she would do some special things, and I want to show you what oops, see, it's breaking even as I do this. Sally's face can turn, and that handle area in the back that's broken off now was used to turn her face. So she had this happy face, and this happy face, when it was on her, she would laugh like and then she had this sleeping face, and you can see I kept her on the sleeping face most of the time because she wouldn't make noise then. There wasn't an on-off switch, unfortunately, but her hair's kind of worn away from her sleeping face. And then she had this sad face like this, and she would cry when you put it on the sad face. So I didn't use this face very much. It's the cleanest and has the colors on it the best. This one has gotten a little grimy over the years, and I cannot get it any cleaner than this. I have tried. And then this was my next face that I would use. But what happened was, some of my friends, when I got a little older, like 5 or 6, they turned her using her face instead of the handle. And so they broke the mechanism that went to her voice box. So her voice box is all still inside her body here, and my brother, who at the time was a teenager, but he's a mechanical engineer now, he had Sally all apart, and he was trying to figure out how to get her voice to work again, and we never did. But I still loved Sally, and she is the size, like I said, pretty much of a newborn, and I would take her all over the place. There was one store near us that had smaller grocery carts. She fit in there really well. And one time I was holding her, and this woman rushed up because I was holding her like this, and a woman rushed up and thought I was holding a real baby and that I was going to drop the baby. And then my mom told her, no, it's a doll. And I turned her around, and she was kind of embarrassed, obviously. But anyway, so when I got older, I got rid of pretty much all of my toys, but some of them we hung on to because my mom was hopeful to have grandchildren, and my daughters did play with a few, but I only have Sally and the other doll, Aga, left now, and I don't think I will ever get rid of them. And then one thing on her hands, I could not get the old fur off because it was glued onto her hands. So I had to kind of stitch the new fur over the top of the old fur when I did this. But it didn't take me too long, maybe a day to take her suit apart, and then a day to cut it out and sew it together, and then another day maybe to put the trim on because I had to do that by hand. But this is Sally. I love her. She actually sits on the day bed in our guest room. So that's it for my 2 memories. I did want to add one thing. One time I saw a video on the internet where there was a little girl running around in a snowsuit that looked just like this, and so I thought it was Sally come to life. So if I can find that video anywhere, I'll put a link to it down below. And now I'd like to thank Vel for tagging me for this. It was a lot of fun. I got to eat some of my favorite food, and I got to share a couple of my favorite memories from childhood. So I would like to tag a couple of people, and I hope they can do it. I actually haven't reached out to them to see if they'd be able to, but I will after this, and hopefully they can. And one of them is Miss Vee. I would like to hear one of your childhood memories while you eat a snack. And then the other is Arlynn of Arlynn's Country Craft Corner. So Arlynn, you said I could tag you whenever I wanted to, that you like to do tags, so I'm hoping you'll do this one. And I still have a couple pieces of my snack left. So good. Thank you for listening while I shared my memories. If you're new to my channel, I normally post several videos a week on how to creatively manage and decorate your home. So I hope you come back and check out some of my other videos. And thank you again to Vel and also to Yacky Snacky for starting this. It was a lot of fun, and I'm going to be sure to watch more of your videos as well. I hope all of you have a wonderful holiday season, that you're happy and healthy, that maybe if you have little ones, they might get a surprise like this that they just love and adore for the rest of their lives, actually. And then I hope you all have a happy new year. Bye-bye, everyone.